John Patton here. Last time we looked at how to make water drop images, and it got me to thinking, I wonder what it would look like from the underside of the water. Now to do that, it gets a little bit more complicated than just dropping the water in and getting those pictures. And so here I have a 10-gallon fish tank, and I filled it up about 3/4 of the way. I want to make sure my water is nice and clean, so I picked up a little bit of this Quick Clear stuff, dropped a little bit of that in. And when you're doing something like this, occasionally you might get little bits of dust and stuff that you can't really see with your eyes, but they will show up in your photos. So I have a little skimmer here in case I see anything, I can quickly remove it. Let's see what else we have. My trusty eyedropper. Like, so I'm going to do this pretty much the same as the water drop photos. I'm using my eyedropper to drop in, but like, so I'm going to get the images from underneath. Let's see, we got a towel here. Won't be needing this right away, but we will eventually. And a little squeegee here to make sure my glass stays clean. Again, with the water drops, this won't be an issue, but some of the other stuff I'm going to show you, this is going to come in handy. This cup here, we'll get to that later too. Okay, so as you can see, I have my camera on my tripod here, and I'm tethered into my computer, which will show me the images in Lightroom. Again, I like to do it this way because that way I can see the images in a larger size than just on the back of the screen. Now let's take a quick look at our lighting setup. Okay, now to get my backlighting, I'm using a strobe here that has a blue gel attached to it. I suppose you could use speed lights. That would probably work, but I think this will probably work better. I have a couple of other strobes here that I will be using. But for now, the first few shots we'll be getting with just this one. I'm going to back up here a little bit so we can see. You notice I had this up pretty high as opposed to my fish tank. I get a little perspective here. This is because I want a nice gradient of blue light coming down through it. And so if the strobe was just behind the fish tank and more level with the camera, I would get too much light coming in. And that's not really what I want here. Okay, there's some other stuff here, modifiers and stuff that, again, we'll get to it later. Okay, so to make that speed light work the way I want it to, I need some diffusion material to spread out that light and make this whole background all this blue that will get steadily darker as it goes down into the water. So I'm going to unroll my scrim roll here and use my clamp here. If you don't clamp it down there, it will just keep unrolling until it's totally unwound. Probably don't want that, right? Okay, so now we're about ready to get started. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is set my focus point in the water and get my camera settings. So I'm just going to use this wood dowel here, dip this right here in the water, somewhere around the middle, get as close as I can. I'm going to switch my lens here to autofocus. Get down here. Okay, there we are. Make sure. Okay, yep, that'll work. Dry this off, get this out of the way. Now on my lens, I'm going to switch it back to manual focus. That will lock in my focus point. And as far as the settings go, on the water drop pictures, I wanted a very narrow depth of field. On this one, I want it much wider. So I'm going with my aperture at f9, and then my shutter speed at 1/250th of a second, which is the max sync speed for my strobe lights as well. But that should be plenty to stop any motion. Okay, so I think we're about ready. Let's go ahead and take a few shots and see what we get. Now I'm using my remote shutter release. Not really necessary, but whenever doing stuff like this, I try to not touch the camera whenever possible. So I'm just going to get a little water in my dropper here. Take a shot, see what we have. look at it here in Lightroom. Okay, that's looking pretty good, but I do see a couple of little spots on here that must be debris in the water. So I'm going to run my skimmer through this real quick to try to catch anything that's in there. Okay, let's do another one. Let's take a look. Okay, it looks like whatever it was that was in there is gone now. So I'm just going to take a few shots and just play around with it a little bit. And I'll raise it up some so I get larger drops, bring it down closer, just to experiment and see what we have. And sometimes I will release the shutter sooner, sometimes later. Again, it's just experimenting and playing around with it. Now, because I'm shooting with a wider depth of field, I don't have to be as concerned about getting my drop right in the middle. Whereas the water drops had to be exactly the right spot. This one, I have a little bit more room to play with. Okay, again, do a few more, play around, and get really close in with this one. Okay, so the problem with that is, get too close to the water with your dropper, it shows up in the picture. That would be easy enough to remove in post, or I could just, crop it. But I prefer not to do, if I can get everything right in camera, then that just makes my life a lot easier. Okay, yeah, so those are pretty much exactly what I was going for with this part of it. Now I had this idea. I don't know what would happen if I shook the tank a little bit. So let's try that. I'll start with a nice gentle shake. Might be kind of cool, maybe give me some wavy pictures. Yeah, not bad. Let's get real violent with it now. Okay, that's kind of cool, but maybe that might be a little bit, maybe a touch too violent on that one. But you get the idea. You just play around with it, come up with ideas. In fact, I'm going to do another one. I wonder if I can do even like a gentle, by lowering this in, and just a nice gentle big wave instead of those violent ones. I think I did that too soon, took the picture too soon. So I'll let it calm down a little bit before I... Yeah, that worked okay. Nothing special, but again, I'm just playing around. Okay, so let's try something else here. You see, when I put my cup in there, I got a little water drop here. Clean that up. I also have these acrylic ice cubes that I picked up off of Amazon. And I've used them for several things. Obviously, they're made for commercial work because ice melts. So whenever you see photos of whiskey or stuff like that, it's always these acrylic ice cubes. And I have two different sizes. I have ones that are like 1 inch square, and then I have these that look like they're maybe a 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch. I'm going to drop these in the water, and maybe we get some cool pictures of them coming into the water. Now I'm grabbing several of them so that way I don't have to be constantly reaching into the water and pulling and fishing them out every time. Okay, on this one it's a little bit trickier knowing exactly when to press the shutter release. But I happened to get it right this time, but about half the time it's either too early or too late. So, you know, just again, just try. That one may have been too early. Well, actually, it turns out it was too late. I only got a little bit of the ice cube in there. So I wonder what it would look like if I throw a couple of cubes in at one time. Let's take a look, see what we got. Yeah, looks okay. Nothing spectacular though. But this is the point where I was saying earlier about the squeegee coming in handy. This is it, because now I got water splashing around and it's getting on my glass here, and I don't want those to be in the picture of his water drops. So I'm going to clean this real quick. The ones on the side won't really matter for now, but they will later. Let's get another one. Maybe if I go higher. It's going to be a bigger splash, but maybe be more dramatic. Did I get that too soon? No, actually that was just perfect. That was exactly the shot that I wanted. But again, a lot of this is just dumb luck, to be totally honest. I got one more here, so let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to go a little closer this time. Just like right above water. But again, I was too close, so my fingers are in the water. Otherwise, I like the picture. So on this one, I might go ahead and keep it and just crop out my fingers that showed up in it. Okay, so I mentioned the strobes earlier. I'm going to bring one of those in now. And we're going to apply a gel to it to add a little bit more color into our image. I'm going to put this at kind of an angle. And I'll need to move this stuff out of the way so it doesn't interfere. So this way it'll be coming in kind of behind, which I think might be a little more dramatic. Again, I don't know for sure, but we're going to try it. And this time I'm going to use a red gel here. I'm just going to tape it to the front of the light. And this is the part where I was saying earlier that if you have drops on the side of your glass sometimes, this light will pick that up and it'll show up in your final image. Now another reason why I'm going at more of an angle rather than straight into it like this, I've noticed sometimes when I do that, I get a little reflection on the back of the glass. And hopefully this will keep it from doing that. Well, now I gotta go fishing for the ice cubes because I have used them all up. And it'll probably be really helpful if I actually turn on the strobe that I just set up here. Okay, and I have my strobe here at the lowest setting because it is really close to the glass and I don't want it to overpower. Now it looks like I got a little more drops back behind there. Okay. Okay, let's go get those ice cubes. Set one down. Yeah, when I did that, got a little water drop right here. Clean that up. Okay, so wait for the water to calm down a little bit, and we'll give it a try. And see what we have. Okay, I'm getting the effect that I wanted, but again, I fired the shutter too late. Almost missed the cube altogether, so we'll try again. There we go. And it's kind of interesting because I'm dropping the cubes in this way, the light's over here. Looks like the light is basically going through the ice cube and landing on the back side. So that's kind of interesting. I guess that makes sense, but it was still kind of unexpected. Try again. Again, a little too late. And that one maybe a little bit too early. That looks kind of cool because the cube is just going into the water. Because that's kind of a big splash, so I got some on the outside and the inside I need to get cleaned up. There, that's more like it. That one's kind of interesting because it ended up going straight down. I tried to toss them in at a little bit of an angle. But basically once they hit water, I don't have any control over it. Okay, way too late on that one. But that gives me an idea because it does have these cool bubbles coming off of it. So I wonder if I just intentionally did that, if I could get that effect. So let's try that. Yeah, it worked okay. Okay, so let's get this cleaned up again. I'm going to bring in another light next. And maybe add a little bit more color. We'll just try it and see how it works. Okay, so now we're going to try it with red gel on one, green gel on the other, and see what we get. Okay, I know that was too late, but still worth taking a look to see what we have. Yeah, way too late. Still a little bit too late, but I'm getting a little bit of green and a little bit of red. Too late again. That might have been too soon. Nope, just right. Take my squeegee here real quick. Get that off there. Okay. So I'm noticing it isn't getting very much on the sides, more on the front and back. So I'm not having to squeegee those every time. Yeah, this is actually working. I was worried the green may be too light, but it's actually working out really well. And that was too late. Yep, too late. And that may have been too early. Not too early, but my fingers are in it again. But again, it's interesting to note, you probably can't really see it from this far, but on this side where the water's being displaced, it's red, and on this side it's green, which makes sense. But then on the ice cube itself, it's reversed. This side is green, and this side is red. So that's kind of interesting. So I wonder what it would look like by pouring water into the water. So let's give that a try. Fill up my glass a little bit. I think I'll start out a nice slow trickle at first and then kind of go from there. Actually, that looks really, really cool. What if we go a little bit stronger, a little bit more, maybe a little bit higher? See how that looks. Okay, that may have been a little bit too much. It just looks like one big mass instead of individual bubbles. So maybe not as strong this time. Yeah, these are looking pretty good. Yeah, pretty much exactly what I was hoping for. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try something else now. Maybe try a different color gel. So I'm just gonna turn this one over here off altogether. And this one over here, I'm gonna remove the red gel. And we'll try a purple one, see how that looks. And since I have the cup handy, I'll just go ahead and do that. So I'll probably also try this with the ice cubes and the drops too, to see what we have. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna go a little bit more though. The bubbles weren't going far enough down in the water. It's a little bit stronger of a stream. There we are. That's a lot better, I think. Yeah, and I'm really liking that blue with the purple. That looks really cool. Okay, so let's fish our ice cubes out, and we'll try a few of those with just the purple. And clean the glass again. Okay, let's give it a try. So again, pretty sure that was too late, but let's take a look and see. Yep, too late. This is kind of interesting though. I am getting a little bit of the splash where it entered up here. I hadn't noticed that before. I don't know if all of them are like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Try more of an angle though. A little bit more splash than I wanted. Got myself that time. But I got the shot. That's the important part. So I think we'll end this where we began. Clean this again. By just photographing the disturbances on the water. So that's kind of neat. It gives you a little, just in the ripples, is the only place you can see the purple. So that's kind of neat. Yeah, it's kind of a cool effect. Okay, so I said we were ending that here, but I lied. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to go with the red and the green again, to see what I get with just the water drops. Let's take those off. I think I'll go backwards this time. I'll put the green on this side. And then the red on the other side. Well, I'm getting a lot of green and no red because guess what I forgot to do again? Let's turn that on. I bet you I have a lot better luck. You know, if the light was on. Let's try it again. Maybe fired too late. That's kind of interesting. Kind of a cool effect. Yeah, it's really neat there, especially if I just crop in on just where the water dropped in. That might be kind of cool. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. You just play around, find things that work, find things that don't work. Just have fun with it. Literally no wrong answers. And so I'm going to keep playing around for a while, but look for the pictures at the end here, and hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, have a good one.